Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Before the Four. It is a lovely and quite hot Tuesday afternoon for you all, but I want to thank everyone who's watching right now for honestly just watching right now. If you're new to Before the Four, you were just scrolling on Facebook and you saw that we were live, I want to welcome you. I am digital host A.J. Wuest, and yeah, this is Before the Four, where I talk about WAFF's top stories before the evening newscasts. And we have some good stories today. It was kind of a lighter day in the newsroom today. Not a whole lot of hard-breaking news, but still there absolutely was news there. And if you are returning to Before the Four, I want to welcome you back and thank you for spending a little bit of your Tuesday afternoon with me. Now, I think it is about that time to jump in to today's top stories. And starting things off, let me pull it up for you all. This is out in Florence. Now, out in the Shoals, a Florence police officer was cleared by a grand jury this afternoon for the death of a man in an officer-involved shooting. Now, this shooting happened on April 1st on Walnut Street out in Florence. And according to officials, Barcelou was armed with 2 knives while police were trying to serve an arrest warrant. After officers arrived on scene, they say Barcelou resisted arrest, which led to the officer having to use lethal force. Now, at this time, we do not have the name of the officer who was cleared, but police say Barcelou was wanted in Utah for rape as well as dealing in harmful material to a minor. And let's go to our next story right here. And this is happening also out in the Shoals. A Rogersville man was arrested and charged with several sex crimes in Lauderdale County. Now, deputies arrested Wesley Allen Parker after a Lauderdale County grand jury returned an indictment for these crimes. Parker was charged with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of incest, 3 counts of sodomy, and 2 counts of child abuse of a child under 12. He is currently being held at the Lauderdale County Detention Center. And let's jump into our next story. And also, this is just coming up in a few minutes. 48's Matthew King. He will be updating you here at the studio with everything that went down today at the Decatur City Council and everything city officials are saying, especially after last Friday's gag order hearing. So stick around as Matthew brings you the latest from Decatur. And also stick around for 48's Aria Pond. She is out in the Shoals, as she always is. She'll be bringing you updates on the newly announced Sportsplex that is set to open up in Florence. Now, this project is over $7 million, and it will include 5 turf fields for both softball and for baseball. So again, make sure you tune in to tonight's newscast for the latest on this Florence Sportsplex. And I am looking over here on Facebook. I'm not seeing any comments yet. And another thing I want to mention, I want this live stream to be kind of interactive. So if you guys feel led to, you can leave a comment and then I'll try to respond to you all. But if you guys have nothing to say right now, we can jump in to our next story. And speaking, last time we talked about, or the previous story, we talked about Aria and the new Sportsplex opening up in Florence. But now let's talk about another new thing that's opening up. And this is the new City Hall, which did open up here in Huntsville today. And Mayor Tommy Battle said this brand new state-of-the-art building is a testament to Huntsville's growth. The mayor also added that when he was first elected mayor in 2008, Huntsville was the 4th largest city in the state of Alabama. Now, it's the largest. So take that, Birmingham. Just kidding, but seriously. But Battle also said it will serve as a landmark for generations to come. Exciting stuff there. Let's go to next. And you guys might remember this story from yesterday. This is Tharpton High School. Their Rocket Squad recently won a national competition in Washington, D.C. Let's take a listen to Aria Pons' latest package on these brilliant students. And I will play the package here.
3, 2, 1, start. Winning the national rocketry competition is no easy feat.
That was really unreal.
Especially when you're a small school competing against 1,000 others.
Anytime a small school with 400 students takes on the nation and comes out on top, it's a storybook deal.
The American Rocketry Challenge is the world's largest rocket contest with nearly 5,000 students nationwide competing every year. In the competition, teams launch their rockets to over 800 feet, containing an egg inside that is not supposed to break. The rocket also has to be in the air for over 40 seconds.
Like our hard work, it did pay off. Just kind of like we did it.
I feel like we were all also in shock. Like, we couldn't believe it. Like, we were like, what?
It didn't even really hit me at first. I was just like, oh, London? And then later on it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, London.
The team won $20,000 split between them. And these 8 will now head to the International Rocketry Challenge in July, where they'll compete to be the best in the world, meaning they get to go to London.
It's like a new experience, like, in general.
I want to see the museums.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for.
A huge chunk of the community showed their support for the team at an assembly on Tuesday. This community says they know one thing for certain.
For them to win, because I believe in my heart that they're capable of that, and they're going to work hard enough to do that.
So cool, very awesome. Congratulations to that Tharptown squad out there. They are quite brilliant, if I have to say so myself. Very cool. And you know, Memorial Day weekend, it is coming up, and some of you may be hitting the road and burning just a little bit of gas along the way. So today I got the chance to speak with Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy. And Patrick, he talked about all kinds of things. He talked about how things are looking at the pump this Memorial Day weekend and also heading into the summer. So let's take a listen to DeHaan. And he is right here. Memorial Day weekend is coming up, which means many may be on the roads traveling and obviously burning some gas. Patrick, first, what are you seeing on a national level as far as the gas price trends are moving heading into the holiday weekend?
Well, at least for now, the national average has declined for 4 straight weeks. The national average falling about 15 cents a gallon since mid-April. We now are looking at a price of about $3.57 a gallon. It's about 6 cents higher than last year, so a little bit higher than last year, but the good news is the trends have been downward. That's been true in Huntsville as well. The average price of gasoline in Huntsville, about $3.19 a gallon. That's down about 4 cents in the last week. So certainly nice to see as 3/4 of the nation is preparing to hit the road for summer travel.
Absolutely, that's great to hear. And you mentioned Huntsville. Here in Alabama, I saw on Gas Buddy, of course, the state average is around $3.17, $3.18 a gallon, kind of similar to Tennessee, which is also not too far from us up here in North Alabama. But how does Alabama and even Tennessee, this region, kind of compare to the remainder of the country?
Well, Tennessee and Alabama tend to be some of the cheapest states for gasoline prices, and a lot of that is really twofold. The proximity to refineries down in Louisiana and Texas, major pipelines that carry that gasoline up to Alabama and Tennessee keep the prices lower. In Tennessee, that's true as well. Again, low state gasoline taxes keep those prices down. So really taxes and the proximity are why both states are some of the lowest when it comes to gasoline prices.
Yes, sir. And so you would say Alabama residents should feel good about traveling this weekend?
Well, I think putting it into context, while prices are still a little bit above the long-term average, they're not record-setting, and some of the nation's lowest prices exist in Alabama. So it's certainly not a bad time to hit the road. All in all, we are still seeing some stations across Huntsville below $3 a gallon. That's certainly good to see. And there could be more stations that fall below $3 a gallon as we progress through the summer. Typically, gas prices don't peak in the summer, but before it, because of refinery maintenance that happens in the spring, we also change over to more expensive summer gasoline in the springtime. By the time summer starts, refineries finish maintenance and they start to really crank up output of gasoline. And that's what usually leads gas prices to decline as they have been for the last few weeks. And again, I'm hopeful that will continue for the time being.
Obviously, Memorial Day week. And also, if you find yourself in town this Memorial Day weekend, you're not traveling anywhere, you're not burning any gas, you can also head on out to the Cotton Row Run, the 44th annual Cotton Row Run. And the other day, I got to speak with former Huntsville Track Club president. His name was Eric Fritz. And let's take a listen to what he had to say as well. First, a little bit about the Cotton Row Run and just what makes the event so great.
The Cotton Row Run is, it's one of the long-standing, it is a community event. We try to bring in we have the marathon, we have other big things where you're trying to bring in a lot of people from out of town. We're not really focused on bringing in all those people from out of town. We're trying to do this for the town and have it be a big party for the town. It's really a big focus on Memorial Day, so there's a large focus on our fallen comrades, those who have served our country and served our community locally as well. So it's just a big hometown, fun, good race.
That's awesome, yeah. So can you talk a little bit about the history and how it got started? I believe this is the 44th annual.
It is the 44th running. We've been doing it for 45 years. We lost a year there in COVID, but it started back in 1980. The track club started in the early 70s as a way to get, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for young track high school kids and things like that to be able to practice and run races, so the track club started up. After that, for a few years, they said, hey, we need to put on a big race. The Cotton Row Run and the Rocket City Marathon were these showcase southern races in Alabama for years, so it's really well known in terms of the history of road running and things like that. And it's really been a great race for both the community and elites over the years. These days, there's so many races, there's so many things going on everywhere. We don't get all the big elites like we used to, but it used to be a really top-notch destination race for elites. I think we've had Olympians here and things like that in the past.
Very cool. That's awesome.
But that's going.
Super awesome stuff there. So if you like running and you like to celebrate Memorial Day accordingly, head on out to the Cotton Row Run. There's a 5K, a 10K, and a mile. If I do it, I think I might be running either the 5K or the mile. I don't know. The 10K, I heard from Eric Fritz that it was very cool and you have a very nice path, but you also have that hill. Not a fan of hills, but I don't know. We'll see. Also, let's talk about the stories you're just not going to want to miss in tonight's newscast. First, the future might be uncertain for an All-American Memphis landmark. Find out the latest on this story coming up at 4, and other stories you're just not going to want to miss. An East Alabama teen who overcame the odds after surviving a shot to the head will be walking across the graduation stage this week. And also a girl who suffered a brain bleed at birth, which caused her to later develop cerebral palsy, is getting the chance to meet her favorite musician and attend his concert for free. So make sure you stick around for tonight's newscast for these stories you're just not going to want to miss. Now, as we end every single Before the 4, we are going to dive in to Facebook Fun. Our question of the day was, how often do you go out to eat at a restaurant? Let's see what you all had to say. Someone said, not as often due to the cost of going out to eat. Well, Elizabeth, it's not much cheaper at the grocery store either. I've spent a little too much money at the groceries, but I agree with you 100%. Prices of food are high right now. Also, Matthew Gruber said every 7 to 10 days or so. Yeah, you know, give yourself a little treat at the end of each week. Got to respect that. And the last one, Daphne Ackland said every day because I work at Waffle House. Gotta love Waffle House. Waho, back in high school, I would hang out with my friends. We would go on Waho dates. Obviously, I'm from Georgia. We have a Waffle House literally, or 3 Waffle Houses in every single town. But Waffle House is awesome. Daphne, you are awesome. And thank you for what you do. But with that, I am pretty much all out of time, but I hope you all have a great evening. Enjoy tonight's newscast, and As always, I want to thank you all for watching. Let's pull it up right there. Y'all have a good night.